Em Rusciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
Wow. This is a very special Emsolation conversation. My co-host has decided he'll join me for one of them today. Hello.
Hello.
I mean, you're only here for the glamour, aren't you? I'm sure Jamila Rizvi feels great about this.
I would love to speak to Jamila Rizvi. Huge fan.
Well, she's going to do a feature on us for the a newspaper. How cool's that?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
that's
it's going to be an
pretty
article
untoppable. We all know that I'm actually here because I'm worried you're going to embarrass me in front of the special guest.
100%. A million, quadrillion. I've had so many panicked text messages. Like, I could read them out. Some of them are in capitals. Do not embarrass me.
Yeah, do not. But also, I realise, and this is a clue, the person in question has seen me on the dance floor in numerous end of production parties. So I have likely embarrassed myself as much as any human can embarrass themselves in front of another person. So I don't know what I'm worried about, really.
Look, it's very exciting. It's the 10th anniversary of Offspring, the show Michael was very heavily involved in writing, and the star of it joins us today, Asher Keddie.
Gold Logie winner, Queen of Australian drama. I just gave her that name, but it feels right, doesn't it?
It does. Oh, I would never argue anything to do with Asher. She's just flawless. She's luminescent. She's ethereal. She's omnipotent.
Oh, that's a lot of things.
Yeah, she's, of course, Dr. Nina Proudman in Offspring, the most beloved character, I think. It'd be in the top 10 most beloved characters, up there with Madge from Neighbours, Molly from A Country Practice. Nina would definitely be in the top 10 most beloved TV characters.
And I should say Billy Proudman as well is also beloved. And as you constantly point out, very regularly has some suspiciously M-sounding lines.
Yes. Billy Proudman, a.k.a. Em Rusciano.
And of course, obviously, Cat Stewart. We're going to wind our way to her. Don't you worry about that in time.
Hello. Yes, we love Cat. Cat's one of our number one Emsolators. Hello, Cat Stewart. We love you, of course. We're saving you. We're going to go Asher first.
Well, and also, Kat's in my new show, so let's save that.
We did. Yeah, Michael was like, let's get Kat too. And Michael's like, yes, but we've got to just eke it out because she's in 5 bedrooms. I'm like, okay, cool, great. So Asher Keddie is joining us today. She doesn't normally give interviews. She hasn't done a lot of interviews, but she's graciously agreed to chat to us. I can't believe it's been 10 years since I first saw the Weird Al collection in her apartment.
Weirdly, I can. For me, it's one of those times I keep saying to people, it's 10 years this week that Offspring aired, and they act really, really shocked. But to me, when I think about that era, I was a different person. It was a really different time. Kevin Rudd was PM. Actually, Julia had just become PM. Barack Obama was in office. It just feels like another universe.
I had just moved back to Melbourne from Perth. I was living in a little place inner city Melbourne, and very excitedly, you got a job on this show. And I know 2010. It does. While it's 10 years sounds a long time, it does feel like another lifetime for me. I was just kind of writing The Saintly Bitch Sings, my first show. Oh my God, a decade. Oh,
I know. This was my first show too, which in retrospect, now that I look, took me a while before I got my first TV writing gig. I was kicking around being script assistants for ages, but then in the end, wow, freaking lucky was I?
I know.
I was disappointed a few times when I didn't get jobs that I wanted, but then in the end, rom-com called Offspring for Channel 10. And I still remember some people saying to me, relationship dramas on Channel 10, they just don't work anymore. And Secret Life of Us was a long time ago. Yeah, are you sure you want to do that? And boom.
I know. Rush rejected you. Imagine.
Well, yes. Look, to be fair, if you look at my writing, smart move on their part. It was meant to be. Clearly I got rejected from the crimey copy shows for a reason. I was destined to write neurotic 30-something women.
You have so much experience with them. All right, so we're about to get Asher up and have a chat. Are there any final words of warning you want to give me before?
Just don't embarrass me too much, okay?
My point.
No, it's going to be completely fine.
All right, let's bring Asher up now. All right, well, here she is. We're very excited. Michael has already pre-warned her about chatting to me. We've already had a pre-chat to this interview, so I'm definitely going to say something awful just to spite him. Asher Keddie, welcome to Emsolation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, babes, I'm so excited. As I said to you just off air, I think he's kept us apart for a decade, but no more.
I think he has too. And I'm really intrigued as to know why you've kept us apart all this time. If I want to know anything about him, I have to look at her Instagram.
Well, I'll reveal it. All in good time.
Tell me. No, tell us right now before I even get into it.
All right, sure. No. It's not the reason why I've kept you apart. But do you want? Okay, here are the two similarities that I've noticed. That two traits that you share that I've never met in any other person.
Okay.
Firstly, both of you, obviously incredibly hardworking artists, and despite wherever you're working, you always love to be sustained by the country, and you often choose to live in the country no matter how ridiculous the drive is to get both of you to work.
It's true.
Yes.
I just don't get it. Like, I mean, Asher often would have like 4 a.m. starts, and for many years of Offspring, she was living so far away in the country. Like,
I know.
Was it sustaining and helpful for you to go back to the trees and to the farm?
Yeah, you know what? At the time, it was, and we're talking early Offspring days. Well, kind of, I guess. I probably did 5 series of it, actually. Yeah. So travelling back and forth. And yeah, I would get up at 3 or 4 in the morning. I'd go and see my horses, made me feel really good. And then I'd drive the hour and a half and get in the makeup chair. And then I'd be driving back in the dark at night. I could not do that now. I did that for the first 5 series of Offspring, and I can't actually believe I did do it. But there's absolutely no way now with children in my life that I would have the energy to do that, you know.
Well, Em does it too. She's always moved out to the trees. She'll finish the project late at night and then have to drive for an hour to get home.
Yeah, I need it. Otherwise, I just don't turn off. I don't know. And like Asher, I guess I consume myself with my work, and every fibre of my being gets infiltrated by the job, that if I can't go to another location where it's trees and quiet, I just become a crazy lady. That's my answer.
Yeah, well, I may well have become a crazy lady in recent years because I've been living in the city. And I do frequently whinge about not having the trees and the space, I have to say. I drive my husband mad. So I do struggle without it now. I really do. I mean, if I could choose to live in the country now, I probably still would. I would. But there's just too much going on though. And of course, you know, I've got kids that are at the age that they want to play soccer on the weekend and have play dates and all that, and the country sort of just wasn't cutting it for them. So I'm being a bit selfish.
All right, what's the second thing?
Oh, and the other one was it's the way both of you work, because I think like both Em as a sort of live performer and Asher as a screen actress, like you don't come from a place of a lot of formal training, and you both work hugely on instinct. And I've never seen two other performers that if something's needs help in whatever you're doing, it's like you feel it before. It's a really instinctual approach to work rather than a formal structure to what you're doing. And I always noticed with Asher doing scenes, you didn't necessarily come into doing a scene with a big detailed plan about what you would do. You're in it and you felt it. And same with you, Em. When you get on stage, I mean, if there was a plan, it goes...
No. Yes, it's never a plan.
And I'm the opposite to both of you, because I'm a very intellectual, you know, I've planned it all out and I'm thinking through it. But you guys seem to be raw instinct.
Michael, that's why we worked so well together all those years.
Yeah.
It's because you do that and I do the opposite. And it's just we sort of met in the middle. I feel like that's what we did for so many years on Offspring. You did all the hard yards before I stepped on set, and then I just let my instinct fly.
Yeah. But also in some ways, Kat as well is more like, she's more sort of in her process a bit more like me, like a real, like more of a structured planner. And what I find fascinating about it is that if you look at the characters, in some ways, Kat has approached the work of the scene like almost in a Nina way of doing all the homework, whereas you approach it more like a Billy way, and that for some reason on screen though, you have the opposite auras and the chemistry is just as perfect.
Yeah. I know, it's interesting, isn't it?
I love all that. It's true. It's good. And it's definitely why you and I are friends. You're attracted to my chaos.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
like
attracted
opposites
to your,
for sure.
Yeah. Well, while we're on Offspring, look, Can you believe it has been 10 years, Asher Keddie? 10 years, babes.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that incredible? Leading up to this conversation, I was thinking about it. Obviously, it was present the last few days, and I thought, gosh, that really is amazing. 10 years. However, having said that, I mean, it was such a huge journey for the show and the characters, but also for us personally. I mean, a lot of stuff happened through those years, to the core group.
Totally.
Babies were born.
Marriages
happened. Divorces happened.
Yeah.
All sorts of things happened. We lived through a lot. So if I look back on it, I think, oh yeah, it has been 10 years. A lot of stuff happened. But I can also say that I remember shooting the first scenes out at the hospital that we were shooting in.
Panch, yeah.
Pants. I remember shooting those first scenes as if they really were only kind of a year ago. Like I remember how I felt.
Tell us. I want to hear it all. Oh my God. As an Offspring fan, tell me about the first time you stepped into Nina's persona. I'm desperate to know all of this. You and Michael know, but yes.
I guess the wrangle at the beginning for me that kind of took over pretty much everything else, I have to say, was the inner monologue. And so we spent a lot of time really trying to work out how that could be engaging for the audience in a way that wasn't predictable. I was really nervous about it being sort of sounding like a narration. I wanted it to be spontaneous, and I wanted it to be engaging in a way that we hadn't heard before on screen or seen. And so Michael was really helpful in that way, because he kind of got, I mean, God, the amount of times I stood in front of you saying, but hang on a minute, it's got to be like this, it's got to come from here, it's got to come from there, and it has to fire off in all different directions so that it's a really true kind of chaotic inner monologue. It's real thoughts that are just firing off in all different directions. And you really got that. So once we got that on paper, I then felt like I was able, and it took a few episodes, but I then felt like I was able to really find the character. That's what helped. That's what it was finding that inner monologue and how that would work was what helped me to find my feet.
Yeah, and as Asher said, just changing it from being sort of like her character comes on and like Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City told a story from a kind of a distance, like it was a flashback. But with Nina, we plonked you in her brain, and it would always impress me how you could act the thought process and have it all sync up. It must have been. I mean, it's a really sophisticated thing you were doing.
It was really challenging at times, but I wanted it to be, you know I did. I wanted it to be challenging, and I wanted the audience to feel what I was feeling as opposed to just watch me go through something or listen to me, extrapolate about things. I just really wanted them to feel what I was feeling. And I think that's when it really started to sing. Nina, when she started to sing as a character, it was when we really got that. We nailed the inner monologue.
Yeah.
And it became embarrassing and revealing and,
You've been in my thoughts all day.
This is an excellent fantasy. Simple, but good. Great. Too tired to stay awake during my own sexual fantasy.
You were totally game for humiliation. I still can't believe.
Totally.
We never, Asher never, there was nothing that we presented where she came back and said, that's too far. Like, and sometimes, especially with fantasies. Oh my God.
No, but that's why so many women loved Nina and still do, is because you were messy and emotional and unfiltered and imperfect. Like, that's why I was drawn to her.
Yeah, that's what I wanted her to be, so she was as relatable as possible, but also infuriating and also really kind of. And Michael would walk on set, and all the writers actually occasionally would walk on set after we'd been delivered a new episode, and I would be seeing the fantasies and the inner monologues from the scenes for the first time. I'd read them the night before, and they would walk on, particularly Michael actually, quite sheepishly, and just sort of, crab alongside of me to sort of just move in the other direction, in case I might, say, "Are you joking? You want me to do that?" But I never did. I just pushed myself to do it because I nothing was ever written that didn't feel true to me.
Yeah.
It just always felt true, even though it was really full on. It was just the most fun.
But was there something that Michael did deliver? What was the one scene? Was there any scenes in particular where you really had to push yourself to do them? Like you felt, was there anything that you remember?
Bad pregnant was a stretch.
Bad pregnant. He did the bad pregnant. So that's where my mind went straight away, is the bad pregnant. So
explain that scene. Explain it. Yeah.
It was season 4. It was Nina was pregnant and she was sort of having a nightmare about doing all the wrong things pregnant. And I had the idea really early on, and I did not forewarn Asher before it was in the script. I strategically decided just let the script go out, and then she'll see that the opening of this episode is her like 8 months pregnant, rapping and eating sushi, and how will she go? And she didn't blink.
And I did it. I did blink privately, but I did think, well, how fantastic. I mean, what a wild fantasy. It just really made sense to me that we would have that. And I loved that you pushed it that far sometimes, because that's what set the show apart. It was appalling what she was doing in that fantasy. Granted, I only had, literally, I was so busy during those couple of episodes we were shooting, I had one night to get that choreography down to the hip hop dancing. So I was a bit cross about that, but other than that, it was fun.
Oh, yeah. What you looking for? Step in the club, it's 3:45. The crowd be staring.
She's got a baby on board.
I order at the bar, they're like,
she's an alcoholic.
Chill out, y'all. It's Jason from the Folek.
She's bad. Bad pregnant. She's bad. Bad pregnant.
I might be third trimester, but I can keep the pace. I got 6-inch heels and a big elastic waist. So when I'm with a hottie, he knows I'm on the hunt. Both babies got back, but this mother's got front.
She's bad. Bad pregnant. She's bad. Bad pregnant. Bounce, baby, bounce. Till your waters break. Bounce, baby, bounce. Till your waters break. Bounce, baby, bounce. I tell you what, I break you. Bounce, baby, bounce. I tell you what, I break.
And that's another thing that I feel like it's really hard for people to understand quite the level of this, because it's really rare that there's a show that is so stacked on one character. I mean, there are some things like, Rake, where it's a lot of Richard Roxon, but that's only 8 episodes, and that wouldn't have these elaborate fantasies. And sometimes, and then the other thing I would say, there's a few things in scenes, like obviously when we go off with Billy, Nina is sometimes not in those scenes, but the way that we shot it, which blows my mind, is we did a second unit. So cat scenes were often shot parallel, so Asher never got a break.
Oh, God. Now, he always said that. Ashley's always like, she works so hard. People
10
don't
scenes
understand.
a day.
Yeah. That was all he ever said. And also, I have the other side to the bad pregnant. I got the text as he was writing it. Like, he was so thrilled to be doing it. He's like, bitch, I'm getting a musical number into Offspring. I'm not telling Asher. It's going to be outrageous. He was so excited.
Oh, I loved
Michael,
it.
did you dance in that as well? Were you an extra in that?
So there was another musical fantasy which I also completely love. I did more than one, don't you worry. I think I did 4 musical fantasies over the course of the show, but the other one was in season 3. And this is one of my most vivid Asher memories as well, because it was when Nina goes out and we see how she imagines she's dancing, which is perfectly choreographed, and then it cuts to how she really looks. So very much based on my own personal experience. Fun. And that was a really elaborate choreographed routine, and I did really dance in that. Right? And I also remember it was sweltering hot.
Yes, you were beautiful in that. You were wonderful in it. It was boiling hot. That actually was, I have to say, that was my favourite.
I love it.
Favourite episode. I really did love Drunk Nina. Drunk Nina. I mean, there's no more fun to be had. It was just fantastic.
Oh my God. And I didn't know until we got onto the set what Asher was going to pull out for when Nina danced drunk.
Neither did I.
And it was incredible. Go back and watch it. She's doing some sort of praying mantis, sort of flinging her arms around. You kissed Jane Harbour. I still remember that. It was beautiful.
I did. High kicks were involved.
That's right. Oh, yes. Man. It was just an incredible... I don't know where it came from, but I respected it so much.
Neither do I. I really don't. No. But it was fun.
You'll always have the quinoa. And you'll always have the Woody Allen movies and the friends and the pets and the dancing. You will always have the dancing. This could get bad. Yeah. Wish I brought a camera.
Asher, in the peak of Offspring hysteria in February, were people coming up to you in the street? Like, were you getting hassled? Is that why you're out in the country? Because there was Nina fever. People were copying your outfits. People were copying your hair, your makeup. Like, what was that like living through that? Tell me.
Look, it went through different phases. I think it's fair to say that around 2013, when we were kind of at our, it was Offspring fever all over the country, and it was Gold Lobby time, and all that was happening. I'd be lying if I didn't say it was pretty full on. It was quite overwhelming at that time. And I think we were around sort of season 4-ish or something like that, season 4, season 5 period. And yes, it was full on, but it went through phases. I felt a bit overwhelmed at that time and thought, oh my gosh, what's happened? Like, what's happened to my life where I can't go anywhere anymore without being Nina. I'm not me anymore. It was a bit confusing. But then it kind of moved into a different place, which I have to say is still, I'm still in now. I mean, I still have people all the time, nearly every day, talking about Offspring. So, just out and about. And certainly on social media as well.
I had guests at my wedding when Asher was present come up to reveal to me afterwards. I had to go up to Asher and just tell her that I watched that show when I had my babies, and she got me through it, and I burst out crying, and she was really nice about it.
I know, but do you know what? That's still happening, Michael, because we have this big US audience now.
Yeah.
And other countries too, and I'm still getting messages every day saying, that are the same as the messages were 5 years ago. So it's just we're having a whole new life now,
Yeah, and it's also a lot of people in North America are watching it in lockdown as well. I mean, Asher gets lots of loving messages. I get lots of hate for killing Patrick, still to this day, but it makes me feel affection.
We should talk about, obviously, we have gone nearly 20 minutes not mentioning the very famous episode and the effect it had on Michael's life, Asher Keddie. I don't know if you're aware of the effect that episode had on Michael's life. Is she aware, Michael?
Well, it wasn't. I mean, it was a positive effect overall, but yeah, I did have a massive wobble for about a solid 2 weeks there. Asher very smartly stayed clear of social media. That was a very smart move for her professionally.
But we got to take it back. I want to take it back. So, Asher, when you read what was going to happen to Patrick, what was your first reaction?
Oh, look, it was such a big deal. I was sat down at a dinner with the producers, I mean, they took me out for dinner to give me that news. This was a big deal.
Did you think they were killing off Nina when they took you out for dinner?
They couldn't do that.
No, they couldn't do that. I knew I was safe. No, I was actually really emotional. I think I actually cried at dinner when they told me. And that's how invested we were in the show. I mean, we really were. And of course, Matt and I, although we've never really spoken about this because we're just seen as Nina and Patrick, Matt and I were and are very close, and we had a very intense working relationship establishing Patrick and Nina. I mean, it was a massive love story. It was just, it was palpable on every level. We were so invested in it, and I adore him, and I kind of had really mixed feelings. I think I may have been a bit cranky when they told me, Imogen and John, but then I really got it, and I understood that actually that was what was going to shape the show in a lot of ways, and it did.
Are you Dr. Reed's wife?
I'm his partner. I'm his sister.
Which of you is the obstetrician?
I am.
He had a subdural bleed in the meningeal layer between the dural mater and the arachnoid.
Oh, God.
And it was very messy in there, and we worked to ease the pressure and to locate the source of the bleed and to suture the blood vessels.
How is he? Can we go and see him?
We weren't successful.
What?
We did everything we could, but he didn't survive the procedure. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I loved it as a story completely, and I held my
It was
nerve.
an amazing story.
Yeah. And even right into season 5, I still remember the actual last goodbye between Nina and, by that stage, Ghost Patrick, when she sort of says, "Thank you for being my lover, thank you for being my friend."
No, don't. Oh, God, I'm getting teary.
I know. For me, was one of the most just purely devastating bits. It was incredible. It was incredible.
Thank you for being my lover. Thank you for living. I'll love you forever. I'll never stop loving you. Goodbye.
We're talking about emotional moments when Billy says to Nina, "I'll love the baby for you if you can't." Like that, for me, I'll never recover from that line.
Yeah, that was really heartbreaking, that scene, wasn't it?
How am I going to be a good mum? I feel so broken.
Means I'm thinking more clearly than you are at the moment, and I know that you're going to love this baby.
What if I don't?
Well, then I'll cover you. If you're too sad to start with, I'll love the baby. I'll love the baby until you're ready to.
You know, Patrick's death led us to be able for that family to grow. Do you know what I mean? And it needed to. And that's why you made the choice to do it, isn't it? Really. I mean, no one wanted to have a fight of Matt Leatherface and Patrick. It wasn't about that. It was about how does this family grow from this point in the middle, you know, in a fifth series. So it was full on. I mean, the reaction was just extreme. I had people crying in supermarkets. There was all sorts of stuff going on. It was really intense. They were so invested in it. And I'd just stand there and say, I know. I know. What else can you say?
I'm really sorry that one experience that I had that obviously you would never get because you're way too identifiable is I would often be sitting in cafes or sitting at hairdressers and people would start speaking about the show, you know, and sometimes I would actually be sitting in a cafe writing scenes for the show and I'd hear the next table spark up and start having a big debate about Offspring, and it was really intense to sit there just listening as they chatted about it. But at the same time, you know, I mean, that's what you do it for. You want it to impact on people's lives and have them care so much. They just cared so much that it was almost scary. I mean, but we all cared so much. It was very validating in that way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Can I put you both on the spot? Let's do this right now. Michael's very nervous.
Yeah, what the hell?
I'm a bit nervous too. What?
Don't be. You trust me. No, I'm just asking the question all Offspring fans want to know. Could there be an Offspring movie? Could this happen? Is this something you two would consider? I feel we need it. If the 2020 energy is low, if I found out there was an Offspring movie, I could go on.
I don't think it's going to hit in 2020, put it that way. We're all off doing different things, but I think we've learned never say never. But to my knowledge, there is no Offspring. I did put out a joke on Twitter about Nina in the pandemic because I don't know if you're aware, Asher, but there's a hot doctor in Melbourne, Brett Sutton, and I just kept thinking about how he would be a character in Offspring.
Oh, you are hilarious, honestly. Yeah, I just say never as well because but there's certainly no talk about it at the moment.
Oh God, I'll tell you what, every gossip news site's story editor's vaginas just tingled and they don't know why. Yeah. I'll tell you, you've both said never say never. I'm taking it.
But we should also finish. Asher is currently working on, and we can reveal what she's working on at the moment, which is incredibly exciting.
Let her tell us. Asher, what are you doing? Who are you working with? What's going on?
I am working on 9 Perfect Strangers, which is based on a Leanne Moriarty book. All her books are fantastic. And she wrote Big Little Lies. And so it's the same production team as Big Little Lies, their next production. And so it's David E. Kelly, it's Made Up Stories, it's Nicole Kidman with her production company, Blossom Films. And so I am working with, it's really great. The drama is fantastic. I'm away now. We've just started shooting and working with Nicole and Melissa McCarthy. Amazing.
Oh my God.
Wonderful. Michael Shannon is playing my husband. I'm playing his wife. It's a super duper cast and a really, really great script. David E. Kelly is best, I reckon.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty happy at the moment.
I love how she just rolled out, I'm with Nicole Kidman.
Oh,
Yeah.
and can I just say, speaking on behalf of Asher's gay fans and friends, but gay fans, since in recent years, Asher has worked with Kylie Minogue on Swinging Safari and Kate Blanchett on Stateless, and now Nicole Kidman on Nine Perfect Strangers. So it's like she's doing a tour of Australia's greatest gay icons. And I could not be happier.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So when will we get to see this on our screens, Asher Keddie?
I think it'll probably be released next year. You know, we're shooting up until the end of this year, so it's a long shoot.
And the only other thing that's extraordinary about it is, of course, David E. Kelly wrote Ally McBeal. And back in the early days when Offspring first started, people used to call it Ally McDoctor. Before they knew what the show was and before we sort of settled in, they used to. It was hard to find a show people tried to compare it to Love My Way, but it was nothing like that. I mean, obviously because you were in it, and then also Secret Life of Us it got compared to. But then Ally McDoctor sort of stuck for the first season a little bit, and so and now here you are, all these years, 10 years later, working with the guy who created that show. Incredible.
I know, right? It is incredible. I know. Yeah, I'm really thrilled to be doing this. It's an amazing role too. I feel really lucky. It's really great.
We're thrilled you're doing it too, because really, by extension, we're doing it. Just understand that.
I can't believe we're actually talking, Em. He's actually allowed us to speak in person.
Well, on that note, it's probably time to wrap it up.
Oh my God. I don't know. I just feel like, obviously all I see now of you is through your Instagram, but I would do daily checkups on you through him. We would have daily phone calls while Offspring was being filmed, and I knew everything that was going on. And I was very much attached. I would be across the storylines while he was writing them and be really worried for Nina and worried for Billy, and he has kept us apart. He's worried about our raw energy being in the same space.
Too much instinct.
He thinks if we get together, it will just spontaneously combust in emotion. Look, I'm just proud of how you just keep working, and you just, you know what, you keep it tidy too, Keddie. You keep it tidy. There's no scandals.
Keep it tidy,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, you
no
keep it. No, you're the Beyonce of actoring in Australia. Like, I only ever see you professionally.
Oh, I love that. What a compliment. I'm like, I know how you feel about Beyonce.
Thank you. Yeah. No, and also incredible projects, especially, the past couple of years. The Cry, The Hunting was these really... And it's interesting, actually, because in some ways, one thing I do remember about Offspring, just quickly before we go, is one of the big surprises was to see Asher doing broad comedy at times, because we didn't know. I mean, when you look back at Love My Way, Julia had some really funny moments in that, but to see the kind of clowning that Nina sometimes did, it was this whole other element of your skills as a performer that we just hadn't seen. And in some ways, it's a bit of an atypical project for you.
I hadn't seen them either. Like the clowning. No, but the clowning was just something. Was just pure joy for me. That was the best part of it for me. Was being able to clown on screen as opposed to on stage, which I had done.
Yeah.
So so that's what the show. That's why the show had a point of difference for me, which I really wanted. Was like I was able to clown. I didn't see that on screen very often. I kept thinking of Lucille Ball and the people that I grew up thinking were amazing and just so entertaining. And to have that opportunity was really exciting for me. I just loved it. Yeah. I mean, you're making me miss it now.
The movie's there. The movie option is there. Just want to say it. No, but I want to be able to say to you, to your face via the internet, I mean, when you played Ida Bartos, I wept. I have to say.
I loved doing that too.
It was the wardrobe, the hair, everything about it was my favourite. It's my favourite.
It was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was so cool.
That's definitely one of my fave jobs too.
That's amazing. Asher Keddie, you're so wonderful. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. We know you don't give interviews, but we just, we feel very special. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. It was lovely to talk to you both.
Oh, good.
And thank you for Nina as well. The whole, it is really making me nostalgic. And I was just saying before this began, it was my first job in TV as a writer. And to have actors of the caliber of you and Kat doing scenes was just unbelievable. I can't believe my luck, and the fact that we got to continue it for so long. It's just what a gift.
Well, we were equally gifted with you on it. That's what we had to do. It was such a combination, wasn't it? It was such a collaboration.
It was perfect.
That's when it's the best, isn't it? Is when it's such a collaboration like that.
And so I don't feel left out. Thank you for mining my life to provide content
very happy to.
for Billy. I just didn't want to feel left out of being Love Fest was going on. So, yeah. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Asher. Have a good day with Nicole Kidman.
Yes, I will. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, let's just finish up now. We'll just keep recording. Well, are you okay with that? Are you happy with that to go out?
I'm very happy with that. Thank you.
So cute. But next time you're not invited, for God's sake.
I'll insist.
Wait, just so I understand, can you so she's working on, who was she saying was her love interest?
Michael Shannon, who I know from the Superman. The new Superman movies. And Luke Evans is in it, who plays Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. It is insane.
I love Luke Evans. He was in a vampire movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's another gay icon that she's working with. She just can't stop working with the gay icons.
She's so
great. Well, she herself
is
one, of course. So
totally. I'm glad that we got to put out there how hard she works, because that's something you always said about Asher over the years. People have no idea how hardworking she is.
I think that people have this perception of actors like they sit in the makeup truck and then they sort of wander onto set and everything like that, but not when you're doing series television in the capacity that she was with that kind of loading on one character. It was crazy.
Oh my goodness, can't believe it's in 10 years. Cat Stewart, I know you're listening. You're next on our hit list. Don't even worry. That's going to be the next one. I'm very excited. Thank you for showing up to this Emsolation conversation, Michael Lucas. I appreciate your time.
Look forward to crashing some more next time I'm invited.
All right, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.